That kind of thinking becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy, doesn't it? You start expecting the worst, so you put in a little less effort, you show up with a little less energy, and you accidentally sabotage your own shot at success and happiness. You end up on the sidelines of your own life, feeling like a victim of your circumstances. Every little setback just reinforces that same old story. See, knew it, nothing ever works out for me. It's a heavy weight to carry around, and it robs you of your ability to enjoy the good things that are already right in front of you, because you're always just bracing for the next hit. I was sick of feeling powerless and tired of letting things I couldn't control dictate my own peace of mind. I knew something had to give. My big breakthrough didn't come from some dramatic movie montage moment. It showed up quietly in the pages of a book about ancient philosophy. I stumbled my way into Stoicism. And at first, I was skeptical. I always pictured Stoics as these emotionless, statuesque figures who just suppressed everything. But the more I read, the more I realized how wrong I was. Stoicism isn't about not feeling your emotions. It's about building an inner resilience so you're no longer a slave to your emotions. These guys, philosophers like Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus, were masters of the human mind. They weren't just sitting around thinking deep thoughts. They were creating practical, real-world exercises to manage the exact same feelings I was struggling with. And one exercise in particular just jumped off the page because of how simple and powerful it was. It's called premeditatio malorum, which translates to the premeditation of evils. Yeah, sounds pretty grim, right? But it's actually one of the most freeing mental tools I have ever found. It was the promise of a concrete practice, something I could actually do, that gave me a spark of hope. This wasn't just fluffy advice, it was a 3-minute daily drill for my brain. So, what is this exercise that can totally transform your relationship with disappointment? It's a type of negative visualization, and it only takes 3 minutes. Here's how you do it. First, find a quiet spot where you can be alone for a few minutes. Sit down, get comfortable, and just take a couple of deep breaths. For the first minute, think about your day ahead, or maybe an important event coming up. Could be a big presentation at work, a job interview, a first date, whatever. Now, calmly and logically, just visualize the things that could go wrong. The goal isn't to spiral into a panic, it's just to observe. Imagine your presentation gets a lukewarm response. Imagine you get that email saying, "Thanks, but no thanks." Imagine the date is just awkward. The Stoic philosopher Seneca said that troubles we see coming hit us with much less force. By mentally rehearsing these setbacks, you're not being a pessimist, you're being a preparer. You're stripping them of their power to shock you. For the second minute, gently expand the practice. Think about some of the things you value most, your relationships, your health, your home. Briefly, without getting morbid, just consider that they're not permanent. What if a friendship faded? What if you had a sudden health scare? The point here is absolutely not to create anxiety. It's to cultivate a deep, profound appreciation for what you have right now. It's like a psychological vaccine against loss. By calmly facing a feared outcome in a controlled way, you dilute its emotional power. Now, for the third and most important minute, open your eyes. Look around. Come back to the present. That rejection email hasn't arrived. That loss hasn't happened. And just feel that wave of gratitude wash over you. Your presentation is still in the future, and you have the chance to give it your best shot. The people you love are still in your life. By briefly thinking about their absence, you return to their presence with so much more appreciation. You shift your focus from what could go wrong to the simple, amazing fact that right now, in this moment, you're okay. Doing this simple 3-minute practice every day starts to rewire your brain. It changes your default setting from anxious worrying to calm preparedness and gratitude. When I first started doing this, I'll admit, it felt a little weird. But I made a deal with myself to try it for 3 minutes every morning. And slowly, almost without me noticing at first, things started to change. The little daily annoyances started to lose their grip on me. A friend cancels? I'd already considered having a quiet night in, so it wasn't a personal attack, just a change of plans. A project at work hits a wall. Instead of freaking out, my mind was already primed for obstacles. But the real test came with the big stuff. When I got passed over for a promotion I'd been working my tail off for, the old me would have been a wreck. I would have stewed in it for weeks, drowning in self-pity. But this time, it was different. Did it sting? Of course, I'm human. But it didn't consume me, because in my little 3-minute practice, I had already visited this possibility. I'd already sat with the feeling of not getting it. The reality of it was way less scary than the vague, unfiltered anxiety I used to live with. Instead of my brain getting stuck on, what if, it naturally moved to the next question, a question that's at the very heart of Stoicism. What's in my control now? My response was in my control. My plan for what to do next was in my control. This practice didn't make me immune to failure. It made me resilient to it. The setback became, as Marcus Aurelius would put it, just material for growth. Disappointment was no longer a final verdict on my worth. It was just information. It was an event, and I was separate from it. That's the real transformation. You stop identifying with your disappointments and start seeing them as external events you have the tools to navigate. This 3-minute exercise is a fantastic starting point, but it's just one tool in a whole box of Stoic strategies for building a tougher mind. Once you're comfortable with negative visualization, you can start to layer in other practices. One is voluntary discomfort. This one sounds a little intense, but hear me out. Once a week, you intentionally add a small, harmless hardship to your life. Take a cold shower, skip a snack, and just feel what it's like to be a little hungry. Sleep on the floor instead of your bed. The point isn't to punish yourself, it's to prove to yourself that you can handle being uncomfortable. It's what psychologists call stress inoculation. When you've willingly skipped a meal, being stuck in traffic for 20 minutes suddenly feels a lot less tragic. You teach your brain that uncomfortable does not mean unbearable. Another game changer is the dichotomy of control. This is the simple art of sorting everything in life into 2 buckets, things you can control and things you can't. You can't control the weather, the stock market, or what other people think of you. You can control your own thoughts, your judgments, and how you choose to act. So when you feel that disappointment creeping in, ask yourself, was this outcome really up to me? If the answer is no, like someone else's decision, then spending energy worrying about it is like trying to yell at the rain to stop. You just redirect that energy to what you can do now. Finally, there's the art of reframing. This is about seeing every setback not as a wall, but as a door. When you hit an obstacle, you can train yourself to say, "Good, a chance to practice my patience." Or, "Okay, here's an opportunity to build my resilience." Marcus Aurelius taught that the obstacle becomes the way. Instead of seeing failure as a dead end, you see it as a training ground. It's a mental flip that turns life's challenges from sources of pain into sources of strength. Look, these practices aren't just interesting ideas, they're meant to be lived. They build your resilience one day, one setback, and one frustration at a time, until responding with strength becomes second nature. So here is my invitation to you. Don't just take my word for it. Try it. For the next 7 days, just commit to that 3-minute exercise every single morning. See how it changes your relationship with the little bumps and the big blows of daily life. And if this was helpful, give this video a like to let me know. Subscribe for more practical wisdom on building a resilient and tranquil mind. And please, share this with someone who you think might need to hear it. I'd also love to hear from you. What are the tools you use to handle disappointment? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Remember, you don't control what happens to you. You will face rejection. You will be let down. Things will not always go your way, but you always control how you respond. You have the power to choose resilience over resentment and gratitude over grief. You have the power to build a mind that no external event, no matter how disappointing, can ever truly break.